All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I realize because of the time change and the disparity between the time change in Israel, which we began, what, a couple of days ago, and in America, which you're going to begin next week. So it's a little bit hard for people to tune in live, but thank you for those people who are tuning in live. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Right. Thank you for tuning in live. And now here we go. Let's start learning the Holy Torah. What's this? Here we go. Oh, okay. Now we'll begin from the beginning. Here's the beginning. This is the first. This is the first mimer, the first Hasidic discourse in this week's Torah portion in the book Torah Or. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. See, how do I get the full page here? Obviously, must be something. There's something here that I'm not doing right. 1 minute. What's that? This has to move here, but it's not moving. Okay, let's deal with the situation with the means that we have. What's going on? Why is this not? Oh, this here has to be. Oh, there we go. There it is. So you got to know which buttons to press here. Okay. All right. Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha is about Abraham. Now, Abraham also got this Kabbalistic book, which is called Sefer Yetzirah. Because what's the whole thing of Abraham? Abraham is a tremendously spiritual, when I call it, occult is not a good word, mystical person. Abraham, that's is hinted by his name, Avram. Av means father. Ram means very high. And Av in Kabbalistic terms, Abba is the aspect of the father, that's Chachma. That's the inner point, beginning point of creation, not even manifestation. And the letter Hey is manifestation. Those are the first two letters of God's name. That's why God has a name, because his name is not just, given an arbitrary name. Let's call him George or Sam or something like that. The name of God is what he does. What he does, one way, how he creates the world, and even higher than that, how he is above the world. Okay, that's hinted at in God's name. Good. So Yud is the seed, if you want to call it, of creation, and the letter Hey is already the manifestation of creation. Therefore, it's called father and mother. So Av is father, Ram, high. He is like the highest level of the seed, the highest beginning of the beginnings. That's where Abraham was connected to. How could a human being be connected to this? It's very simple, because God, when he created the world, he had man in mind, and he created the world for man. So this whole thing, it takes a lot of faith to really, how do you say, take this seriously. But nevertheless, we do have a world, and the world must have had a source somewhere. Everything has a source, doesn't it? If not, then the world is the only thing that doesn't have a source. There's no source whatsoever. So that comes out, people that believe that, which you have the option to believe that, So they believe that the world is God. The world always was, didn't have a source. So that sort of, puts to rest, I think, anyway, the whole question, well, if God created the world, who created God? So ask the other way around, if there was no creator to the world, then, so you believe that there can be such a thing with no, that was never created. So let's say God was never created. I don't know, listen, this is just, how do you say, rhetoric. But the fact of the matter is, there's a point to it. If there's so Abraham, whatever it was, he got connected. He started thinking, listen, the world did not create itself. And he thought, well, maybe there's some sort of God, some sort of spiritual powers that created it. Yeah, but who created them? So finally he got to this point that, listen, there must be something that created the world that's before everything. And maybe this something has a personality. Maybe the world is being created for a reason. Maybe it's not just something that just sort of, popped up from nowhere. like bubbles coming out of you blow the thing and just arbitrary just pops out. That's all. There's no order to it. Chaos, how do they call it? So Abraham said, no, there has to be an order to this whole business, and there has to be a reason for this whole business, and there has to be a reason why I'm here. And Abraham thought and thought and thought and thought until he got into it. And the more he got into it, the more enemies he made, because people didn't like his conclusions. People wanted to believe in powers or something like that, that that minimized their obligation. Right? You have some sort of a amorphous power that's creating you. You have no obligation to this amorphous, whatever it's called, upper or whatever. Got no obligations. Just you want to connect. You don't want to connect. Like Noah, you want to come into the ark, come in. You don't want to come into the ark. So you got another year to have fun in the world. So it's the same type of a thing. So Abraham realized that there's a God and that God is creating everything. Okay, but what's the purpose of that? That's when he was up. When God gave Abraham the circumcision, this is what we learned a couple of days ago, right? That's what we learned. Then he brought all of this awareness down into the world. Why? Because then every human being can realize, hey, I have an obligation to my creator, and my creator loves me. I'm being created from love. I'm being created because God wants to give me the most precious gift that can be given to a human being, responsibility. Responsibility. That's I have a reason to why I use my arms, why I use my legs, why I use my head, why I use the not just to take drugs or to have a good time or to have fun. All those drugs and things, they work for an hour or something like that. The rest of the time you go searching for them. If you have a real purpose, then every single moment of your life is purposeful, meaningful, blessed. You're a creation, direct creation of God. You're created in God's image. So God's image means God, so to speak, has a purpose in creating the world, and we have a purpose in being created. And one of the purposes is to just realize that we're here for a reason. We're not alone. No one human being is alone. Everybody is special. Everybody is unique. And we're here to do good. What is good? Oh, that's what the Torah came for. So Abraham began this whole thing. He began this whole crazy thing that we are not God. You can't do what you want. And people don't like that. So here we go. Hine Avram, this idea of Avram. So we got all these deep Kabbalistic ideas would boil down to, what do you do? What do you actually do in this physical world? Hine, behold, Avram is Seichel HaNe'elam Mikol Rayon. He is called the awareness which is concealed from all thought. In other words, the beginning of the creator, beginning, highest level of the creator. Av, called a father, which that we said before, that's Chachma, that's his seed. Ram, that's very high. V'tzorech Lavan, we have to understand. And V'tzorech Lavan, it has to be, it has to be revealed. What do you mean it has to be revealed? It has to be revealed so that every human being knows about this. Every human being knows about how high his source is. Don't think that just your mother and your father created you, right? And also understand who created your mother and father. Right? But on the other hand, your mother and father certainly did create you. It's one of the 10 commandments. You have to give honor to your parents. Very, very important to honor your mother and father, because they're the ones who brought you. They're the last step. They brought you into the world. But the process, that the idea why you're here now, right? Why you're here now and why your parents were here to create you, that comes from the creator of the universe. It's this idea, it's a very basic thing, what we're trying to say here. The idea is we're not God. We're just creations. And we're being created from love. If you don't think that, then what do you think? You think I'm the creator and I'm created for absolutely no reason. The whole world is just like a big machine. We're created in our creator's image. What is our creator? A meaningless universe. So we're created in his image, right? If that's what you think, which you can think that way. There's a lot of people that do think that way. There's the be, it has to be, but with this level that Abraham realized what the source of creation was, it has to be revealed. There has to be what's called the order of creation. There's a little bit of Kabbalistic ideas here. That's why I sort of didn't want to learn it in the beginning, but here we go. I think you can take it. Seder Ishtalshlut. This is called the order of the chain of creation. From this level of God, which is called He is wise, but no sort of known wisdom. And Yerida, to come down from level to level, ad sof until the lowest of levels, which is what? Me and you. But tachlit, and the whole purpose is liot gilui, that godliness should be revealed bebria, yitzira, and asiya. These are three spiritual worlds, the last of which is the beginning of this physical world. Gan Eden Elyon, the upper heaven. Gan Eden Tachton, the lower heaven. Tainug and Ivroim, the pleasures of the creations, angels and all these other things, and me and us. That we should finally be able to reveal Giluy Tainug, this revelation of pleasure. Pleasure. So what's the Rebbe saying over here? To feel godliness is pleasure. Don't think that all pleasure is feeling godliness. That's not necessarily true, even though feeling pleasure is a certain aspect, if you want to call it, of godliness, because everything is an aspect of godliness. But evil also has a pleasure to it. Now, evil is also a creation. And God purposely made it that to do bad things, to do things that are against God's will, feels good. Right? All the 10 commandments, the things you're not supposed to do, they feel good. Some people enjoy killing, some people enjoy raping, whatever is. Some people enjoy stealing. A lot of people enjoy stealing. This is the union of chesed, is gale b'pumei de'ima. This is the idea that kindness is revealed in what's called the mouth of bina, understanding. Why? The gilui, because the whole thing of bina, we said before, that's the letter hey, that's manifestation. And that's where kindness, love is revealed. Like it says that Abraham sat in the entrance of his tent. The tent is already being revealed. This is all hinting at these upper levels. Okay, but in order for God to reveal His life force in the world, right? Life is pleasure. Life is pleasure. A person is alive. He's happy, right? You save a person from drowning or something like that. Everybody's jumping around. They're all happy. Unless you saved, Stalin or something like that, but everybody's happy. So va'helam bechinas chushech Yitzchak. That's the level of darkness of Yitzchak. V'erev vayiboker yom echad, one day. Liot bechinat yesh. Okay, in order to reveal this Yitzchak, that's the son of Abraham, right? That's pleasure, happiness. Tzchok means pleasure. In order to reveal this in the world, so God has to, so to speak, hide His light. Hide His light. God does not hide Himself. God is everywhere and He's revealed. But God's light is not revealed. What that means, to tell you the truth, I honestly don't 100% know. We have to think about that a little bit, but that's the fact. There's nothing that's outside of God, but God's revelation is, yes, concealed. And that's how He made a world. And that's why we don't feel that we're being created. And that's what Abraham wanted to rectify. There has to be, that's Abram, that's chesed, kindness, and Yitzchak corresponds to gevura, contraction. In order for there to be this pleasure revealed in the world, God has to hide a little bit. He has to hide His life force. He has to hide His essence. And then there can be happiness, Yitzchak, in the world. That's what it means. Abraham gave birth to Yitzchak. Like the day. First of all, there's darkness, and then there's light. When God created the world, it says there was erev vayiboker, darkness, and then light. So God has to dim Himself down first, and then there can be light in the world. Pshachat echad. Sheyesh, that the physical world that seems to be physical will be negated or surrendered to the Creator. The creation will be surrendered to the Creator. When we don't think there's a Creator, so then we're alone. I'm the boss. But as soon as the Creator is revealed, then I'm not the boss anymore. But what? At least I'm connected to the boss, right? At least I know what to do. Remember, there used to be I used to work in this factory anyway, so all the janitors, they used to hide. They used to hide from this. They would do their job, whatever it was, and there would one person, and then they would hide away. So when they were hiding away, they could smoke, they could do whatever they wanted to, and the boss, he was also a little bit lazy. But once in a while, the boss would get interested, and he would catch these guys. So when they caught them, so on one hand, they didn't like being caught, but on the other hand, he told them what to do. They had a job. If they don't do their job, they'll get fired. So to be in this world and to feel separate from God, it's a good feeling. You do what you want. You have no responsibility. You have no obligations. You can do what you want. But other than that, you don't even know what you want. You don't know what you want to do. Just to sit around, do nothing. That's really what you were created for, to do nothing. That you get after you die. You do nothing. So that the world feels to be a yesh when the creator is not revealed. So as soon as the creator is revealed, it's like the boss coming and revealing himself, then all of a sudden, all of the workers, they become batal. What does it mean, batal? They become negated. Negated doesn't mean they do nothing. When the creator is not revealed, then everybody does nothing. Then everybody's doing nothing. When the creator is revealed, then everyone becomes activated to do what the creator wants. Right? The creation, they want to do nothing. That's what they want to do. Just take it easy, take phenol or whatever they take. I don't know what they do. These are people. And then they're just spaced out and they're cruising, and that's it. They're happy, right? To make $1 million, $20 million in the lottery and just take it easy. That's the best thing in the world, right? So it's wrong. That's terrible. Doing nothing, that's awful. That's like a worm or something. Batal means to be surrendered to the creator, to know what you're supposed to do, to become activated properly. That's the idea of Abraham. Abraham, to let everybody know, everybody feel the creator. In order for this revelation to be, there has to be circumcision. Misfit Mila. Lasir, to remove Orla, the foreskin. Klipat Noga, this is what's called Klipat Noga, a shining shell. It's a Kabbalistic term. It's used a lot in the book the Tanya, and what essentially it means is nature. Nature. Hachofefes, which covers over. Abraham was very holy, but in order to reveal his holiness, he had to reveal something. He had to remove something that was concealing, just like God. God is very holy. God is very real, but there's something covering over God. And what is that? That's nature. So we have to remove that part of nature that covers over the fact that there's a creator. And who took this on himself? Abraham did it. Shalo yeh la yanika. What happened? This thing is very. Shalo yeh la yanika, that nature should not have any nurture from evil. Remember, we learned that mimer. This was like what, last week, wasn't it? About the hairs coming out from the skin. There's little pores. From these little pores come out hairs. And the hairs, that's what's called nurture to the forces of evil. Or it can't be revealed, this revelation, while the foreskin is still there. Ki shiur chayuto, only the measure that it's supposed to. I'm sorry. Yes, okay. So, evil. Oh, here we got evil. Evil. God wants there to be evil in this world. He wants there to be evil. Potentially. He wants there to be in this world the potential for evil. The potential for murder. That's why in the Ten Commandments, the Torah is before the world. What does it say in the Ten Commandments? These very simple things. Don't kill, don't steal, right? Don't commit adultery, whatever. Don't have lust. What, before the world, these things existed, killing, stealing. He says, yes, God wanted that there should be a world where there's a potential for murder and for all these other terrible things. He wants them to exist, but he wants them to exist in a way of potential. One reason is so that we get a reward when these ideas, urges come into our mind attack us. God gave power to evil to do these things. And we resist it. When a person resists it, it's a tremendous novelty. That was the whole thing of Noah, we just learned. Noah, all he did was resist. Everyone else in his generation was sinning. And they were all debauched and all whatever it is, decadent and stealing from each other and everything. And Noah withheld. He didn't do any of these things. He resisted peer pressure. He resisted what do you say, the spirit of the times. No, he just held back. That's an amazing thing. He's called a tzaddik and a tamim. He resisted. So that's the same thing. What in the world reason does a person have to resist having a good time, right? What, having a good time. The people want to be licentious. They want to be decadent, like we said before. They want to be. Why is the power to resist it? Here we have, like in America, homosexuality, right? Why in the world would a person want to resist a thing like that? Why? It's an urge, a natural urge. That's what everybody says. Why? Because it says in the Torah, you're not supposed to do it. So what? So you do it. Why should I do it? No, it says in the Torah, it's bad for all mankind. Okay, you believe in the Torah. I don't. So yeah, but the Torah is written by God, and God is creating you. Okay, so he knew I had this desire. So, he's creating me. That's how he created me. If he created me like that, it's okay. He says, no, God created this in you as a potential, and you have to resist it. Why should I resist it? What are you talking about? Why? Because God is more real than you are. Right? He's going to punish me. No, not necessarily. Let's forget about the punishment. I mean, you're not going to get any rewards for doing this. That's for sure. But maybe you're doing other good things, other good deeds that you won't get any punishment. We're talking about doing what's right and what's wrong. Doing what the Creator wants. Why should I do what the Creator wants? That's the question. The only reason really that you should do what the Creator wants, the true reason is because you feel the Creator. You feel the Creator. I mean, you can go to people's funerals and one day I'm going to die. So what's going to happen to me? So it comes along some preacher or something and he says, what you're going to die is if you don't listen to what I say, you're going to go to hell. So that's also a motivation, but that's not true motivation. It's not a happy motivation. A happy motivation is I'm resisting this because my Creator wants. It's something like soldiers in the army, right? They go into the army, they're loyal to their country, they're willing to do anything, go through the worst situations, dangerous situations, risk their lives because they feel their country, they feel. Here we're talking about feeling the Creator. That's what Abraham wanted. Everyone should feel the Creator. When you feel the Creator, you feel that how much God loves you. He's creating you. He's giving you eyeballs and ears and nose and legs. Right? He's keeping you alive, giving you life. He's giving you responsibility. And every moment, so that encourages a person to do bad. That's the whole idea of the circumcision. The circumcision is to remove nature and reveal the Creator. Remove the power of nature and start doing what the Creator wants. So that people don't pay so much attention to natural urges, and they do pay attention to the responsibility to the Creator. But you have to feel the Creator at least believe very strongly there is such a thing. That's what Abraham started. That's why everybody hated Abraham, because people don't like that. It says Moshiach is going to come and he's going to show all of the religions are lies. You know what that means? 2.5 billion Christians, 1.5 billion Muslims. Who knows how many Hindus? Who knows this? They're all going to realize that they've been lied to. The religions are simply lied. They were, honest people. They were genuine people. They really thought they were being told the truth, and they did these things the truth. But the fact is that they're all lies. Who said they're lies? Abraham. Abraham said there's one God, and you should only worship this one God through the Torah. What the Torah says. And people don't like that. I mean, if this video gets around to people and they hear, I'm going to have automatically 4 billion enemies. I don't know how many Hindus and Buddhists there are. But I mean, automatically, right? You're telling me that the Protestant is not true. You're telling me that's not true. Then Muhammad is not true. How can you say a thing like that? Well, first of all, the Maimonides says that. I didn't make it up. And it's true. What can I do? It's true. I'm not saying, these people are bad. They're evil, going to burn in hell. It could be that I'm the one that's going to burn in hell. because I did something bad. Who knows what? I didn't help an old lady across the street. And maybe all these people will go to heaven because they did help an old. I don't know how God measures what's good and bad. But one thing that's for sure is that idolatry is not good. Right? And going against God is not good. Right? Maybe he'll overlook this, it could be, but the fact that it is not good. So that's what Abraham brought into the world. And that's why Abraham was called Abraham al-Ivri. The word Ivri, which is translated nowadays into Hebrew, means the other side. It says that Abraham was on one side and the whole world was against him. They were Avracher. Looking, therefore, it says after the commandment, that's why Abraham got the circumcision, because after the circumcision, it says, Av Hamon Goyim, that Abraham was the father of all mankind. Rashi explains that's what it means. It says, you are the father of a multitude of nations. That's the simple translation, but it really means the Torah cannot always be taken at face value. But they have to have a genuine rabbis to explain it. You can't just explain however you want to, despite what Christianity says. Ki av amon goyim at first glance, Einu muvan. It's not understood. Abraham made a circumcision, and God said, you are going to be the father of all nations. What is the idea of all the nations got to do here? You'll be the father of the Jews. Ella, but Abraham, when he made the circumcision, his name was changed, and he got the power, a bureau to refine, to correct the whole world, al yadei gilui, by means of revealing godliness in the world. Ki lama tzadikim domim. What are the righteous Jews similar? And here we just finished saying Noah was also righteous. Tzaddik, he was a tzaddik. He was not a Jew. Lifnei Shechina, what are they in front of God? Kaner lifnei avuka, like one little candle in front of a huge torch. That's what the tzaddikim are. The tzaddikim, righteous Jews, righteous people, are like a little tiny candle in front of a huge big torch. Shenichlalim bebechinas bittul ba'avuka. They are totally negated in the torch. When it says, this is the one the Jewish people were exiled after the second destruction, it says that God's presence went with them. Lo galu, because it says that the only reason that the Jewish people were taken into exile, she'd vosef aleim gerim, so that there will be added to them converts. The Jewish people are looking for converts? Definitely not. So what type of converts is it talking about over here? It's talking about nitzutzot, the sparks, shebaklipat noga, which are in nature, shebamachalim b'mashkim, which are in food and drink, and other physical things, shemit alim, that are elevated, the kalel b'kedusha, to be elevated into holiness. Mipnei, because of Gilui Shechina. I'll explain what this is. Gilui Shechina, which the revelation of God's presence. By means of this, they are negated and included. Bener, in the kaner, like a candle in front of a torch. What's going on over here? Again, the Jewish people are in the world. The main stress of Judaism is this physical world. To make this physical world into a holy temple, the whole world, into one big holy temple. Everything, and which is not such a difficult thing. It just means, everything is being created by God. It says in the sixth day, the end of the sixth day of creation, when God finished creating, he saw everything was good. Very good. It says Tov Me'od. The whole world was very good. So the God, created the world, and he created a world that potentially is very, very good. And okay, I made that up. Very good. Okay, not very, very. It says very good. So the world he created was very good, but we don't see this good. The world, the good. So that's why the Jews are around in the world. That's why there's a Torah to tell us what to do with the world. And when the Jewish people do what they're supposed to do with the world, then that's sort of like putting a puzzle together or something. Suddenly everything becomes a little bit clearer. You start to realize that the world is a creation, an amazing, miracle, miraculous creation that has tremendous meaning to it. Then the whole world, it becomes included in this oneness of God, the Creator, just like a little candle becomes included in the big torch. What happens when a little candle becomes included in a big torch? The candle becomes brighter, if you want to call it. It becomes part of a. So I think every detail of life becomes more meaningful. Life is not so small and mean, dark, threatening. That's what Abraham brought into the world. That's this pleasure, Yitzchak. That's what's talking about. So that's the sparks. What's the sparks? Sparks and klippas. We said before, klippat noga means nature. Nitzutzot means sparks. A spark of life. Everything in the world has a purpose, a use, right? Everything has a world. You have shoes. Your shoes have a use to put on your feet. What are you going to do with your shoes? I don't know, walk around. When you use those shoes and you put them on your feet and you do with those shoes what God wants, you go to work, you do a good job, right? You give charity from the money you made because you walked with your shoes to work. So that, so to speak, elevates. It puts everything in its proper place. Everything becomes a little more organized. The nitzutzos, that's the sparks of use, of value, which is in everything. And our job is to use these things, food, drink, etc., for what God wants. That puts the world into a proper, perspective, a proper order, cleans the glasses. This is the whole idea of Parsha Zu, of this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha, that God said to Abraham, Abram, this high level of Abraham, that he is very, very high, Shiahei, that it should come, Lech Lecha, go down. It should go down, a mishtalshal, and come down in a chain of creation, go through the chain of creation in a way of revealing, kadei tikun, so that it should fix up the world, or birur, and refine the world. Ki ad Avram, until I, Abraham, haya rak shvirat hakelim, breaking of the vessels, things got worse and worse and worse. Everybody took nature at face value. If I have an urge, it must be good. Like Professor Viktor Frankl says, people nowadays, they don't know what they want. They don't know what they're supposed to do, and they don't even know what they want to do. They have to be told that advertising, right? This is what you want. You want Coca-Cola. This is what you want. You want this, right? People don't even know what they want. Taking young kids and say, you know what you want? What? You want to be a girl, right? No. You sure? Joey did it. He was a girl. Oh, yeah? Maybe that's what I want. See? That's what you want. Let's make an operation before you change your mind. People don't know what they want. People have no idea. That's the way it was before the flood. People just did anything that popped up in their minds. From Abraham started the world of tikkun, getting fixed up. Lech lecha. Go to yourself. Yetziat Shem Ma, namely this name of Ma, this Chachma, came from the upper worlds to be revealed here in the world. That people felt that there's God, simply meaning they felt that there's a creation and there's a reason they're being created. But there has to be a Yerida, a descent. Acher Yerida, after another descent. Me Avram, right? Abraham went around and told everybody, hey, there's a God. Nobody cared about him. So he figures, well, I gotta fit this like I gave the example, Albert Einstein, they tell him he has to teach physics, and they put him into a third grade class, a second grade class. He starts to teach, he realizes, listen, I gotta come down a little bit more. So he comes down to like the, sophomore level in college, and then he comes down to freshman level, and then he comes down to high school level, comes down to junior high level. He realizes, hey, it's not going, I gotta come down lower and lower. Same thing with Abraham. He had to bring these ideas lower and lower, Bechinat Yesod Abba, until Oretz, to the land of Oretz. That's what God said. Go from your land, your place of your birth, this Avram, this high level, to the land that I show you. What's the land of Shul? That's the lowest of the 10 sefirot. That's called Malchut. That's the physical world. Asher Areka, that I show you. What does it mean? Are, I will reveal you, your essence. You will come to be revealed when you make this circumcision. That's when God changed his name, right? Shimcha Avraham. Now your name is going to be Avram Avamon Goyim. That's Lech Lecha, coming from below, from above, from this high, tremendous level to below. That's one. Now there's also another Avram, which is the simple meaning of what's going on here, that Abraham left Ur Kasdim, and he went to the Holy Land. That's the simple. Here we're talking about this Kabbalistic level that God told Abraham to come down from this tremendously high level, to come down. But of course, before this, he Rita Liot Avraham, right? Inyan. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was sorry. Lefize, according to this, what we just said here, this thing of Lech Lecha is that God is telling Abraham to go down. Take your high awareness of God and bring it into the world. Let other people know that there's God and that God creates them. Let them know about how great God is. Huh? I mean, a person could say, listen, if God creates me, so he must not be so great. Right? I can do whatever I want to. Here, God, like I said before, God created me to be a thief, so I'll be a thief. Right? Whatever God creates me. He says, no. He has to let everybody know how high God is. We'll get to this. So Abraham comes down, brings God down into the world. Lets everybody know there's a creator and that there's a reason for creation. That which was added to Abraham, the letter Hey, this is what's called the upper Hey of God's name. Now, in God's name, there are 4 letters, Yud, and then Hey, and then Vav, and then Hey. There's the lower Hey, that represents the aspect of God's kingship, the lowest aspect of God. But then there's the upper Hey, that's an upper aspect of God's kingship, even higher than God's kingship. This is called God's understanding. We had that before, Yud and Hey. The Zohar, it says, Gabi, Eved Alevi, who, this is Atika. Oh, Atika, okay, there's what we call the crown of God. Huh? There's these, what's God? God has these 10 aspects of godliness, which is hinted at by the 10 utterances that God created the world and the 10 commandments. And that's the 10 sfirot. And sometimes the 10 sfirot, like we say, Chabad is Chachma Bina Dat. But sometimes they don't count Dat, they count Keter, crown. And the inner aspect of this crown of God, this is even higher than Chachma, that's called Atik. Atik means to be removed. And where is this Atik revealed? It's above Chachma. It's revealed in Bina, not in Chachma. Okay, why not? That you're going to have to tune in tomorrow, and we'll discuss. Now let's learn the Sikha of the Rebbe in Dvar Malchut. Here we go.